Hello there and welcome back. Today I want to talk about the change I did on my modular system, and we will also check the new module that Qubit just released. They sent me one unit, so thank you Qubit. It's very interesting. It's called Aurora in Italian, and it's a spectral reverb that I find out it works pretty well, of course, with the other favorite Qubit that I have, that is the data bender, that since I got it I use it quite a lot. So I will go through some modification I did, some new models that I had, and the other one is the Usta, that is a stage sequencer that I'm really liking. Then I added the Praga, that is a mixer with 2 aux send. All the other things are the same. I had the math because of course I had to. I'm still not using it as much as I should because I keep things pretty simple. But yeah, we will go through that before going on, as usual, the way that you can support my page. You can subscribe, you can share, of course, this content, and that is definitely free. You can buy using the affiliate link down below, or you can become a Patreon. In Patreon I usually do more in-depth demo, and for some tiers I can do also consulting and mentoring, and on and on and on. All right, so let's get back here. First, let's go through this little patch that I was playing that will allow me to show how I'm using the modular lately. So first off, I'm using the Usta as the sequencer. This is a stage sequencer. It's a little different, more than a little different than the usual sequencer that I have. So not only per step, we wouldn't go per step, but each of these 16 knob, you can give them the note value, the trigger value, and the length on the stage, so you can get out of the 16 or sort of boxed pattern that I'm used to, and things can get pretty interesting and different. But this is gonna be for another video. This is sequencing the ring with this classic sound. Classic, beautiful sound. Then the ring goes inside the Praga. Praga is a 4-channel mixer. The good thing for me is that it has 2 aux send, and I really like playing with effects on a modular system because you can add a lot of modulation and create something that I wouldn't be able to do on the pedal or in the pedal board. I don't know. So here comes in channel 1, and then using the aux send, I'm sending the signal like this to the Aurora, and the Aurora goes inside the data bender. Now we'll go through that to show what it does. Data bender now is active. As you know, I like to use the data bender quite softly, otherwise it can get really weird. I clocked it with everything is clocked by the Pamela. So I put the clock, and of course this is 100% wet, and this is I turn it on when I want. So as you can hear, Aurora is getting you that kind of spectral reverb that you would expect. We will go through that again by himself. The other things that I introduce later on, let's turn on this off. It's a simple drone made with Odessa. So the Odessa, it's a spectral oscillator. They're all spectral today. So I have the chance to add this kind of overtones and harmonics. it goes inside the tangle quartet. So the first 3 channels of the tangle quartet are the fundamental, odd and even partial. Then I use the mix out to go into the channel 4, so they got summed. And then with Zadar is doing a lot of stuff, but I have this envelope that it modulates this sound. And then it goes inside is Prada. And even here I can decide to add some Aurora and Data Bender if I want. Because of course both the qubit module that works nice on let's say more percussive or plucky sound, but I really like also how they work with the pads or sounds that doesn't have like ADSR or whatever. For example, this is interesting. Of course, now we are using the in send and return. So basically what happened is like we will always hear the clean sound, but of course this will work nicely even if we send the sound directly into it, and so maybe have a full processing to create pads or texture. This combo is great for texture. We will check that too. All right. Now, as promised, let's check what Aurora does. So I turn off the data bender, and now we are just hearing this. I have something that was modulated by Zadar too, with different envelope here. But let's listen. So first off is a spectral reverb. It has 4 different spectral resolution, so you can hear that easily. Let's listen. So let's tune in. You press Shift, and this will tell you the different spectral algorithm. Someone works better with drums, for example, the green one. The purple, no, that was this is the CN. The purple is the most extreme. This is the more luscious and more, probably more adapt to this kind of sound. This is what they call the best of this of both worlds. This one is the one that apparently work better with. We can try. So each one has a different way to work with their sound. This one supposedly is better with percussive sound. Rings, as being a resonator, has also the modality that works with this kind of sort of percussion, so we can hear how it works. So once you decide which one, let's pick the green one, that it's what they call the best of both worlds. You have all of this control. Warp is basically, let's go back also. You have 6 different control. One, of course, is the mix. In this case, we keep 100% because it's used in send. Warp is basically a pitch shifting that goes 3 octaves up, 3 octaves down. And it's with warp, where is it? Here. You can CV it. It's here it is. So basically you can sequence it. Right now I'm sequencing with one channel of the Usta. It's kind of messy, but it's 0 octave per volt sequenceable. So that's it. Then you have a time that's is a sort of decay, and it blurs the amplitude component of the audio. And it's kind of smeared and make things more luscious. While it's at lower setting, it's more, I don't know, it feels more like a sort of fast modulation. The blur smears the frequency component of the incoming audio. So it's, the more you do it, sort of create a stretched effect. So as you can hear, you can get a very, very weird sound. Reflect. It's basically morph between different multi-delay time zones. I guess it's the reflection, what you would call on regular delay or reverb, right? We said the ready mix. And atmosphere, it works in the spectral function of Aurora. And it creates different sound that range from what they call the sort of whale sound at minimum level, like now. And as you can hear, pretty interesting, right? Or it goes into like the spectral reverb domain. It's very cool that the light, the LED works with that. I really like this kind of sound once is in data bender. For example, let's try to send a drone and hear what happened. Let's I am sequencing the warp. On the Usta I can make stage longer, so it's slower. And then I can change the CV value. For example, this is a cool way to hear it, but what if we send the sound directly in it? Let me grab another cable, and then we send 4 from here directly into Aurora. So basically we will, now we don't hear the, this would be the dry signal, and this would be the full wet signal. What happened now is just like you are creating some soundscape. Very sci-fi. I think this this effect is excellent for that kind of vibe. And another things that you can do, you can start modulating things. So let's take the Zadar. I have this A and B doing these different shapes, and let's see what happens if we add things. So let's start to modulate atmosphere and blur. Forgot to mention you have two buttons here. One is the freeze, that of course freeze, and this other one that reverse the audio. For example, now we are having a very interesting drone that would be as simple as a single note. Oh no, it's not anymore here. Of course, this would be the note. So we are sending this into the Aurora. And with Data Bender and Qubit, Data Bender and Aurora, we created this interesting soundscape. You can also play with, for example, we can send a Pamela workout, random, and freeze things. Let's now hear if we send not a drone, but some sound to it. Let's send ring. We can change. Let's see how easy it's to change here. So I have this stage going on. Rotating will add a different pitch, and then I can decide how long the stage will be for each thing. Okay, now let's start adding some effect and hear what happened. Let's remove all the modulation first. So here, with atmosphere at less, we have this like underwater kind of vibe. Let's hear also the other spectral algorithm. This is the most extreme. This is very nice. Introducing some data bender, and let's add some modulation. Let's do reflect. I'm having randomization here happening. We can remove everything, so we can create it's all quantized to a scale. I love this Usta because you can change very fast your sequence, and there's not a like if you let go like these, like improvising, it always gets you some weird places melodically, and I really wanted a sequencer like that for a long time, where I know I'm quantized, but I can just evolve as much as I want without any worries. So as you can hear, these two guys together create this very interesting crunchiness behind that. Let's see with some and for example, even this is nice. We start from a very simple, like percussive whatever sound, and then we add atmosphere to it. And I always love what Dada Band do to the sound. I like a lot of time to put it in the end of the chain, because it had all of these subtle, sometimes not very subtle, variation and glitchiness. So, as much as I thought it was more complicated, Aurora is pretty simple. Yes, there's a USB, so they promise more firmware and probably more sounds that you can use later on. There's the shift, yes, but it's very simple to use. There's not a lot of things under the hood, and I think that is great. I mostly love to use effects with my hand rather than modulation. Of course, modulation is fun. Let's add some, for example, warping modulation. But I always love to have things that I can control. And one consideration I want to do, how and why I'm using the modular. It's clear by now that modular is not fully my go-to choice for improvisation live, because I feel it's more of a meditative approach. I find out that what I record, like for example what you are hearing now, this sort of soundscape, I would never be able to do it outside the realm of modular. And at this point, it's a lot of stuff going on that I have no clue, basically, more or less. And I like that. My point here is just I record the thing. and then I use it back for performances, for scoring. For example, now I added the drone coming from the Odessa that is being modulated by number 3. And I can create this slowly evolving thing. Zadar is great to create things that moves. I wish I used Batumi more, but I end up using Zadar. This is an LFO, very complex one. I end using Zadar all the time. They all come from Chaos devices. So, as you can see, I really like them because Odessa, Zadar, Batumi, and Strega, they're very well-made modules. For example, right now we create a soundscape with the percussive tone of the rings into Aurora and Data Bender. But it's something that we can push more. And we can keep evolving on our sequence. So if you're interested in like creating, play with noise, play with sound, I really enjoy to do that on modular, and rather than trying to emulate what I can do with Vermona and Octatrack, I decided to go in a different way and let more unpredictability come into play, and play with modulation that I never do with any other things. That's why also math come into play, but I need to use it more. I now need to add a simple oscillator because Odessa is nice, but it's very uncommon, the kind of sound it produces. So I waiting for my instro to come back. It's arriving from USA with the rest of my studio, and I will put it here, so I will have also the chance to do more simple sequences with the guy. The Usta also send each channel 4 out, so the first row of each group is quantized, the second one is unquantized, the first row, so you can send voltages to other modules, and that you can create a sort of very weird shapes and LFO and whatever. So it's a pretty interesting take on a sequencer. I also have the Mimephone that I truly love. Now today we didn't use it, but most of the time right now what I do, I send aux, send A to Aurora and Data Bender, and send B to Mimephone to have just a regular delay. Very nice. To conclude about Aurora, definitely it's not your bread and butter delay reverb. I love reverbs and delay the most. I have so many that I cannot even count. It wouldn't be probably the kind of reverb that you would need to do regular stuff. This is more of a sound design experimental tool. So I recommend this one if that's what you're looking for, or maybe if you have other basic reverb. It all depends. I'm a very simple person with this kind of music, with the sound that I like. So I need to have a sort of whole spring, whatever, simple reverb. It's kinda better for me to have it in outside the modular, because I love to have in a modular system more creative effects, and that's why even the delay that I'm using, the mimeophone, it's definitely not your basic delay. It can works like that, but it has, you know, the zone, so you can start repeating things happened minutes ago. And then there's a lot of cool way to modulate it. Data bender, as the same, is a glitchy, super unpredictable effect. That is very nice. What you hear in the background, it's beautiful, and it's very nice to play it live with your hands. I did a few shows using it, and it's always adds something that I enjoy. So, again, thank you very much, Qubit. Both these module has been sent to me, and I want to thank you. I used it once, get it, I put it here. I want to point out, since the video of last week got